Big Podcast.
It's Build a Big Podcast, the marketing podcast for podcasters. I'm David Hooper. You can find me at bigpodcast.com. If you go there, I've got some great stuff to help you grow your audience, make more people care about what you are doing, make more people spread your message, maybe gently encourage them. You can't make them, but we can certainly make it easier on them to do that. If you want that, it's at bigpodcast.com. On this episode, I'm going to talk about the host of Jeopardy. Well, he was the host for a minute, Mike Richards. He's stepping down as the host just over a week after he was chosen to succeed the late Alex Trebek. What's going on? Let me tell you, because this is important to you. There are a couple of reasons. One of them was self-dealing. He's the executive producer. So people are wondering, is all the data that he's giving us about how popular he is, the focus groups that he did, is there any integrity there? I don't know. But the real reason, from my understanding, is there was a lot of criticism after there were reports that Richard made offensive and sexist comments on a podcast he hosted from 2013 to 2014. I don't know what those comments are. Doesn't really matter, except somebody thought that they were offensive. Somebody thought they were sexist. Therefore, he is out. That's the result. That's the topic of this episode. You've got to be careful what you say. How do we balance that? Because on one hand, you want to bring your personality and your beliefs and you want to stand for something, fly your flag. Those things are important when you are hosting a podcast. People do not want a milquetoast, hooray for everything type of podcast host. Boring. That is boring. Try not to offend somebody is what broadcast radio does. You need to be able to make a decision. You need to be able to state an opinion. You need to take a side, basically. However, the world we are living in is changing. And what is funny today may not be funny in the future. I've heard people mention that a lot of older movies, when I say older, I'm talking 30 years, movies from the 80s, movies you may be familiar with, Revenge of the Nerds, for example, there were some gay stereotypes in there, wouldn't fly today. It would not. Another one, the Eddie Murphy movie, Delirious. Stand-up performance, a lot of gay stereotypes in there. And it comes off as mean today. Back in the day, I guess it was funny. A lot of people were laughing. They're not laughing now. It does not hold up. Those Molly Ringwald movies, Pretty in Pink, Breakfast Club, some of the stuff doesn't hold up. And I've even heard people talk about Friends, which is a huge franchise. Each of the Friends, I guess there's 6 of them maybe, they're making $2 million each per year in residual income. So people are still watching Friends. But you go to a 20-something, a teenager, and you show some of those things that they're talking about. They're like, oh, I don't get it. It just does not hold up. You have to be aware that whatever you say today is probably not going to be evergreen for life. Like looking at some of these old books, like Think and Grow Rich, that's one that people think, oh, that's evergreen. Yeah, maybe, but some of the language doesn't work. It's not that it's offensive. We just don't talk that way anymore. So whatever it is that you are saying, understand that it is not going to work on some level in the future. I think here's the bigger issue for podcast hosts, and this is the issue that I see a lot of people get into trouble with, is that when somebody calls you out on something, if you are wrong, and if you believe you're wrong, some people don't believe they were wrong ever. If you believe that you were wrong, admit it and move forward. What I've seen is people, maybe they know they were wrong, but they don't want to admit it because they don't want to isolate the people who think that they weren't wrong. If that makes sense. So they double down on something. I know a guy really big into the toxic masculinity thing. It was funny at first. Then he started attracting a crowd that didn't think that it was funny. They thought it was serious. So he's doubling down on it. Well, dude, that's going to come back to haunt you. It's already coming back to haunt him. We've all got our elements of that. Maybe you're too woke, for example. I don't know. Look, I'm not here to judge what you're doing. I'm here to say that whatever you're doing now is going to have a consequence. I think you need to be thoughtful about it. I think you need to be aware that people are going to come back and they're going to have opinions other than the ones that you have. You are going to attract somebody. You're going to attract maybe a lot of people. That's one of the reasons I think it's important for you to fly your flag, make a decision, have an opinion. But there are consequences to that, and you need to be aware of that. That's it. No big message other than that. This is a quick one to show that, when you put something out on a podcast, even if you think nobody's listening to it, somebody is listening to it. It's like nude photos of Miss America. If you're taking nude photos, even if only one person saw them, that one person is going to come out with them the day you win Miss America. Same for politics. If you have success, somebody's going to come up with the dirt. I got friends of mine, gay guys, that have gay politicians that they know. Yeah, these guys get out of hand. Start pulling the anti-gay rulings. Well, that stuff's going to come out. So think about it. People are watching what you were doing. If you believe it, that's one thing. I think that people can change. I think it's possible for you to believe one thing and then believe another thing. I've certainly changed my mind a lot over the course of my life, and I think that's natural. But when you are wrong, admit it, move forward, take responsibility, and just be aware until then. Thanks for listening. BigPodcast.com is where I am. I've got some episode templates for you. They will help you grow your podcast, make episode creation easier for you, help you do something that attracts an audience and gets people talking about you. You can get everything at bigpodcast.com. I've also got the podcast. If you like what you're hearing now, you want to hear more from me, bigpodcast.com/subscribe. Everything is there at bigpodcast.com. So go there now before you forget, bigpodcast.com. Thank you for listening. I'll see you on the next episode.